Today we're going to do a lesson on teleporters, and teleporters are pretty easy. Limited use. They basically just teleport the player from one location to another. They're really simple to set up. You do have to be careful not to get yourself caught in a loop where you're bouncing back and forth between, two teleporters. But otherwise, really simple to set up if you need to move the player between locations. Like maybe you've got an area and you built a separate part of your map that's not part of the main map, and we can teleport the player into that area, and then they can walk through a door and teleport back to the main map without switching levels. So, or whatever, you can come up with whatever ideas you want. But today we're going to build a simple teleporter, and I'm going to have you guys make a sample and then use it if you need to in your map. So there's essentially two parts to it. There's a trigger that is the actual teleporter that you walk into as the player, and mine are a little large here, so I will shrink them down a little bit. And then the second part of it is the destination for it. So you have a trigger brush that you walk into that triggers the teleport, and then you have a destination. Now the funny thing is the destination looks like this. This is my info player start here. These are the teleporter destinations. So they look like the player starts. So just to kind of get that out of the way here. So step one, we're going to take your block tool and we're going to make a brush. So you're going to take your block tool, browse, get your trigger texture, and then you're just going to make a block. Okay. There it is. All right. Then we're going to convert this into an entity. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. You can right click on it, tie to entity, you can select it and press Control T, whatever works for you. And we are going to turn this into a trigger teleport, if I spell it right. Click Apply. Now it's a trigger teleport. I'm going to go ahead and name it. So for my sample, I've already done a couple, so I'm going to call this teleport or teleporter 3. Start disabled, I'm going to leave it at no. Obviously that means we can turn these on and off kind of at will. Under flags, we're going to check clients, which would be the players. You could also allow NPCs through here. Physics objects, pushables would be grenades, bombs, those kind of things. Only allies. So choose whoever you want. If you want NPCs to be able to come through, I'm just going to leave these guys NPCs and clients, which would be players and NPCs. And then remote destination. So this is where you're going to go to. So I call mine teledest, and then you can see I've already got a couple there. So this is going to be teledest 3. So this is teleporter 3, and it's going to go to teledest 3, okay? Remote destination. I'm going to click Apply. Now this is going to be red because I haven't created it yet, so don't worry. Now we're going to go to the location that we want to teleport to. We're going to take our entity tool, and we're going to put in info teleport destination. Info teleport destination. Drop that in. It looks like the player. And then whatever direction this guy is facing is the direction the player is going to be facing. So this is the orientation of the player once the player teleports. So I'll go ahead and leave him right there. Here's my teleporter. Okay. So now we need to make sure that we name the destination whatever we named this. So I did teledest 3. So let's go back to that. We're going to open him up, and his name is going to be teledest 3. Click Apply. And now, if we go back to our teleporter, it should be not red anymore. Let's go ahead and test it. So compile the map. And I'm going to go ahead and reload. Alright, my teleporter, there it is. Alright, so I've teleported way over here, and I was facing in the direction that I'm supposed to. So let's reload one more time. Teleporter's over here somewhere. There it is. Okay. One more time. Alright, so I've got one right here. So I'm going to show you like a two-way. So I go through here, I land over here. If I walk straight ahead, it teleports me back to this location. If I go through here, I'm back over here. So the one thing that you do have to be careful of is when you're teleporting the player, you want to make sure that, number one, they're not landing in another teleporter once they land. Otherwise, you're going to get caught in kind of a circular world of teleporting back and forth and back and forth. So you'll notice that my teleporters, my destinations are not right on top of these things. If they were touching, I would immediately teleport back to this location. The other thing you want to be careful of is the player carrying momentum through the teleporter. So you probably want to make sure that the player is not facing directly at the teleporter so that they don't carry momentum through it and hit the teleporter as soon as they step through it and get teleported back. So just be aware of that. Make sure that your player is facing in a good direction, or they're not really close to it. Like this guy, if he had some bomb blast momentum, he could potentially get thrown through this teleporter after he teleports to it. Not likely, but it could happen. So normally I would want to make sure that these teleporters were behind the player's direction of travel. That way, in case the player's running or jumping or has some forward momentum from a bomb or something like that, that they don't get launched into another teleporter. All right, but pretty simple. There's mainly two parts. There's a trigger teleport, which is a trigger volume. It's a box or a block. You set the remote destination and you give it a name, flags, at least clients for the player. You can check anything else you want. And then at the other end, info teleport destination. Give it a name, and there's nothing else to do to it. That's it. The orientation of this, the location, the direction it's facing, and everything is exactly where the player is going to land. So it's a really easy one to set up. It is not like the level changes that has to have a both direction teleporter. You do not. You can have a single direction teleporter. If you remember when we made level changers, you had to have a two-way connection. You had to be able to go to and from the level. Even if it was disabled, you still had to set it up as a two-way connection. Teleporters are not like that. You can have a single teleporter that goes to a destination with no way to get back. Okay? Very simple entity to set up.